Hey everyone, it's Howie Schwartz. I hope all's well, and welcome to our second session in the brand new OfferVault webinar series for affiliates. If you did not have the opportunity to join us live last week or to watch the webinar, then I encourage you to go to the webinar tab in OfferVault. Make sure that you're logged in, and you're going to see a huge number of webinars from the past. And the most recent one you can see that we hosted, which was on the 14th of August. And then you could see we took a little bit of break for almost 2 years before that in these webinars. And then you can listen, of course, to the ones from the past, but we will post all of the replays, and we're going to do this every Tuesday night. So we hope you can join us live. And the benefit of joining live is you can type in questions. We're happy to look at your specific offers. We're happy to look at really any market and niche that you'd like to see. And if you're listening to the replay, pretty strong benefits that way. So if you are on live throughout the session, please type in questions, and I'm happy to answer them for you. So again, welcome and great to have you here. So let's jump right in. So just a 1 minute summary on what we covered last week. Maybe it'll take a minute and a half. Is we spent a lot of time talking about how to use the search functionality in OfferVault. We talked about how to navigate some of the different tabs, and one of the really core things that we discussed was how to apply to a new affiliate network and to really increase your chances for success. And some of the top tips that I gave, and again, I do encourage you to go to the webinar section and listen to it again, was to, one, be professional, set up a business website, have a business domain. If you're going to use a Gmail, make sure it's not like ilovepuppies77@gmail.com, right? Have a professional sounding Gmail. If you're not going to have a corporate domain, I encourage everyone to start a corporation. Throughout all of this, I'll say it again, this is not legal or accounting advice. I do not play a lawyer or an accountant on TV or anything like that, but I do always suggest that have a professional voicemail. The affiliates managers of the networks will call you. Clean up your social media, right? They're gonna take a look. They want to understand who they're doing business with. And you have just like absolutely crazy stuff going on social media, then don't be surprised if you're not being accepted to networks. So again, we want to see your success rate in network acceptance to skyrocket. So we want to help you and provide guidance. We also talked about how to register for an affiliate network. So it's really important that you do use the network sign-up tabs within OfferVault, because then that way the affiliate managers know where you're coming from, and they obviously know us very well. So anytime you're on an offer, you can click Join Network, and you'll have an opportunity to go right to the network join screen. Also, at any time, you can, of course, go to the Networks tab, and you could register through the sign-up URLs directly. So again, that's my real quick recap. I just want to make sure that everyone is very familiar with the best way and best practices to sign up with affiliate networks. I also gave 2 quick action guides, and I'm going to do that on each of these webinars. I'm going to give you guys some action tips, things that you can take action today and start scaling your success. One is to make sure that you are applying for multiple affiliate networks every single week. So after this webinar, same thing, I'm going to want you to go and sign up for at least 10 new affiliate networks that you're not engaged with already. And each day, as we talked about, I start my morning and I'm looking at OfferVault and looking for new opportunities. I'm looking what new offers came online. I'm looking at any sort of trends that we might seeing related to search terms. I'm taking a look at new ideas, and I'm writing it down, and I'm coming up with what I'm going to start next, in addition to scaling any of my existing offers. So those are the 2 things that I'm doing every day. that I encourage you to do. So again, after this webinar tonight, don't do it during it. I want to make sure that you guys are paying attention and you're focused. But after this, I want you to sign up for and register for 10 new affiliate networks every single week. Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about a few things tonight. The first thing that I wanted to talk about, because I had a lot of questions about it on the last session and we just did not have enough time to go through it, was to talk a little bit about pay-per-call, because I think it's one of the most misunderstood or kind of least talked about portions of affiliate marketing, CPA marketing today. And it can be very, very profitable. It can scale really, really nicely. But again, I think it's misunderstood. And I think that many affiliates, whether they're new or been doing this and earning 6, 7+ figures annually as their full-time income, I think a lot of times they're skipping pay-per-call because they just don't get it, or they think that it's hard and that it might not work for them. But I do want to encourage you to test pay-per-call. And let's take just a real quick look at it. So Mark Roth and we actually ran an affiliate network together years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago, something like that. And it actually had a pretty strong pay-per-call network and component within it. So we worked with a lot of advertisers on pay-per-call. We worked with call tracking platforms, and we worked with a lot of affiliates who were very, very, very successful in pay-per-call. So a lot of what you're going to see is a huge variance in payout dollar amount. So you're going to see a $250 payout here. I just saw a $100 payout here. I'm just going to zoom in my screen a little bit. And you're going to see some $25 ones, some $35 ones, $18 ones, $11 ones. Again, you're going to see a huge varying set of pay-per-call offers and payouts. So, why does not everyone just go ahead and chase that $250 offer, that $100 offer? Because that sounds awesome, right? I'd love to be able to receive, a $250 affiliate commission, every time someone generates a phone call. Let's take a little bit of a look at it. So the main reason why is that the offers with higher payouts are going to have typically a higher hurdle. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So usually when a offer is going to have something more than a, let's say, $25, $30 payout, which is a little bit more typical, you're going to see some really very specific requirements. So this offer here could be for someone who needs legal representation for all sorts of things. It could be for debt settlements, it could be for DWI, it could be for traffic, right? So they're going to have very, very specific. And with those specific offers, they're going to have very specific requirements. So the way that pay-per-call works is you're paid out typically on a minimum number of seconds that someone is on a call, and that gives the call operators at the advertiser side the opportunity to screen the customers and to make sure that you're generating a call that's going to be qualified traffic or a qualified prospect for them, and then that's when you can start to receive your commissions. So a call like this might have, someone asks me on the phone for more than 30 seconds. It could be a minute. Sometimes it could be even longer. And the reason for that is they want to get through with the live operator those qualifying questions. So let's say this is for, a debt settlement offer or something like that. So what's going to happen is many times they'll ask questions. So they'll ask, what state they're in, because some of these offers are state specific. So it's really important that when you're running any traffic, and especially pay-per-call, they pay attention to geography or geographic requirements, not only at a country level, but some of them may have state requirements, right? So they may only have offers that are eligible in certain states. So they'll ask, hey, are you in this state, yes or no? And if they say no, they're going to say thank you, and they're going to hang up the phone, right? And the reason why is they want to get the prospects off the phone that are not going to be good potential leads or prospects for the advertisers. So that's what the call center operators are trained for in pay-per-call, is to make sure very quickly that they're qualified. So then what's going to happen is they might ask the next question, how much debt do you have? And they might have a minimum. They'd say, all right, we're looking to, settle or work with $10,000 or more debt, and they might say, oh, I have $5,000, and they say, okay, thank you, and that's the end of the call. And if it's $10,000, then they might say, what type of debt is it? And then, is it a credit card? Is it certain banks? Is it mortgages? Is it school loans? And let's say they're looking for just credit card debt and says, no, it's school loans. And they say, well, thank you, we can't help you. Have a great day, and hang up the phone. So again, they're doing all of these qualification questions really, really quickly because they want to make sure that they're generating a qualified prospect for the advertiser, and that's when they're paying out their affiliates. So when you see an offer that's $250 or $55 or something like that, these are great payouts, and these are great things that you should test. I mean, I always like to get involved in offers with high payouts, but don't be driven just by that. Understand the qualification requirements, understand the targeting requirements, understand what you need to accomplish to get paid for that lead and that call. So for $55, you're not getting paid just for someone to dial the phone. They're going to ask questions like, do they have fire, smoke, or soot damage? They might ask if they're an apartment or a condo or a house. They may ask the amount of damage. They may ask, again, what state or city they live in to make sure that it's eligible. And any of those screening questions that your prospect does not qualify for, the operator is going to end the call. So that's why you're typically going to be paid for a minimum number of time or seconds, or maybe a minute even, or sometimes even longer, that your call prospect that you're generating is going to be on the phone for. So that's probably the most common question that I receive is that, do I only go after offers with the highest payout? And my answer is you should test lots of offers from lots of networks, but don't just be drawn for the highest payout. So this one here, this is an auto accident. So this might be someone who was unfortunately in an accident. Again, there could be certain states. There also could be certain requirements for, when the accident occurred. Were they on a motorcycle, in a car? Were they the driver and the passenger seat? Again, there could be all sorts of different qualifications. That's why it's really important that you understand what the requirement of the offer is so you can generate the appropriate traffic. So let's talk a little bit about more of these offers and some of the traffic that we can generate. So if there's any questions, please, again, type them in, and I'm going to try to get through as many questions live tonight as we can. Also, I do really encourage you that if you have a specific offer or a niche market or an idea that you want me to review live, then please, please type it in the question box, and I will try to address it live. And again, that's one of the benefits if you're watching the replay is when you can attend live, I'll answer your questions live, and we'll even look at your personal markets and niches and offers. So let's take a look here, and let's find one that we can jump into a little bit. So let's take a look at hearing aids. So you're going to see multiple offers within hearing aids for pay-per-call typically. Let's see what's on the market right now. Hearing aids pay-per-call. Let's try that. So let's take a look here. Give this a second to return. So again, what I usually like to do is I like to understand when a market catches my interest. I want to understand what networks and what offers may be available for me to use. And I want to focus in on applying for multiple networks. And that's a really important point. So let's do hearing aids again. It was probably too specific here. Let's run this again. So what I mean by apply for multiple networks is you want to diversify your opportunities, right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure, okay, so this is the one specific offer that's available. So let's keep on this one for a second. So what I like to do is, again, not only have one offer to monetize within my niche, I also like to have more than one network that might be running sometimes the same offer or multiple similar offers within my niche market. And the reason for that, why that is so important, is that you're going to find some really big differences in even the same offer or similar offer between networks. The payouts could be different. They may have different geographic opportunities available for specific countries or states if it's a local geo offer. You may find traffic restrictions. So you're going to find certain advertisers and networks that say, we don't let you run SMS. We don't want you to run paid Google ads. We don't want you to run Facebook. And they might say Facebook traffic only, right? So you're going to see all sorts of different requirements, and the same offer on different networks are going to permit you to run different things. One of the things I mentioned on the first session, and I really do encourage you to watch the first session in the webinar tab if you missed it last week, right, is that you really need to follow the rules. Again, when Mark and I ran our network, we saw affiliates do all sorts of crazy things, and the network owners and your affiliate managers see everything, and you want to build a good, trusted relationship. So if they say don't run paid search ads, don't run paid search ads. If they say don't use trademark terms, don't use trademark terms. What's going to happen is they're going to see it, you're going to be deactivated. It's going to cause all sorts of problems, and they're going to see you. So it's not about playing games and trying to, to the rules. This is about working with the affiliate networks as partners. Really, really important. You're going to hear me say that a lot. So let's talk about hearing aids. Let's talk about what pay-per-call can look like here. So let's go in and let's type in hearing aids. So there's going to be many opportunities for you directly for your offers. So when it comes to pay-per-call, there's a few interesting things to consider. One can be, targeting mobile traffic specifically on paid channels, whether you're running on Facebook or running on Google or another ad channel. When you're targeting mobile traffic for pay-per-call, there's a huge benefit because you can have direct click-to-call. So if you construct your ads correctly, then your target user can directly click on the phone number and it will initiate a phone call on their mobile device. So I've seen some success running pay-per-call on desktop. Some people have Skype installed. Some people will type the phone number in and you're using a tracking phone number, so you still get credit. But for me, in my experience, I really like to focus my paid traffic and media on mobile traffic. So when you're setting up your targeting your ad campaigns, probably my most important tip for you is to, one, include the direct phone number in the ad where you can. And when you're doing this on mobile, the users can click directly from the mobile ads and initiate that session. And that's the goal in pay-per-call, is you need to start the user as easy as possible with as little friction as possible to make sure that they're initiating a call. So let me just look at some questions here. So what platform is best for pay-per-calls? So Google, Bing, Facebook, Twitter. So I've not seen a lot of success with Twitter ads in general. Usually for affiliate marketing, I'm not running paid Twitter ads. I do use Twitter as the free social promotion all the time, and I'm promoting all the offers and all the content that we're developing through social. I think that's great, but paid ads for me in Twitter, I've just not been able to back out. I know people who can. It's just for the affiliate type offers that I focus on, and sort of the 6- and 7-figure affiliates that I spend my time with, they're not spending a lot of time on paid Twitter. Organic Twitter can work. Bing is interesting. There's certain demographics that work well with Bing, especially an older demographic. So for something like hearing aids, which tends to be sort of this older demographic, I would encourage Bing here. I've seen a lot of success with Bing in an older demographic. Bing also is going to be typically much cheaper than Google for search. So I would suggest that you use Bing for, especially for an older demographic like pay-per-call. Google search, Google AdWords can be great. You can run a call extension in your AdWords, which allows you to have the phone number to be prominent on your ads, and then you're going to be billed every time your user clicks directly on the call link, and that initiates that phone number. So again, I'm a really big fan of using the call extensions on AdWords. And again, as I mentioned before, I really do suggest that in your paid ads, you target mobile traffic. You really can't do that with your organic traffic. You know, if someone's going to search for your content on the desktop and wants to interact, that's great. But for paid traffic, I really do suggest that you target mobile. Facebook for pay-per-call, it's been hit or miss in my testing. I've seen a lot of campaigns, and I know a lot of affiliates that are very successful running Facebook ads, paid ads on pay-per-call. I've personally seen more success with Google and Bing for pay-per-call because it's intent driven. So if someone's typing in hearing aid or hard of hearing or hearing loss or something like that, and the ads that are being generated are intent driven in Facebook, which is wonderful. We run lots of affiliate campaigns with Facebook, so it's nothing, you know, against the Facebook platform in general, but more specific for pay-per-call, I found that those kind of behavioral ads or interest-based ads, I have not seen back out as strong as search. But again, you want to test it because it could be pockets of opportunity. You can find the right audience. So just because I say like, hey, I think, you know, AdWords or in this case Bing, because it's an older demographic, could be better, that does not mean don't test Facebook. You should definitely test Facebook, because you can find pockets of traffic and opportunities that other affiliates aren't seeing, right? So that's a great question. So I know it's a long answer, but again, there's a lot to consider there. Let me just review some of these other questions here. So when we applied to advertise the offers, you generate the calls. So when I need you, so let me just make sure I understand the question, but you're generating the calls by driving traffic to the phone number, and you receive a traffic tracking phone number in pay-per-call that allows the affiliate network and the advertisers to track which calls are coming from your affiliate account and allowing you to monetize those directly, right? So that's the way that works. Let's see. So what software tools do you need to use pay-per-call? How do you track the calls? Dan's asking. So you don't need any software to do that. That's what's great about working with the affiliate networks on OfferVault, is they have call tracking directly, right? So they're going to provide call tracking. They're going to provide the tracking phone numbers for you, and then they will also provide for you, let's go back to the pay-per-call tab. They're also going to provide for you reporting, so you're going to be able to see how many calls were generated and whatnot per call, what the conversions were, what the payouts were. So you're not having to run any other software or anything like that, which is really, it's a great question. That's really important. So let's see here. Okay, very helpful info. Great, thank you, Ralph. I'm good. Glad that definition helped you. Awesome. So let's take a look here a little bit about your hearing aids and the way that we can market it. So this is going to be a very competitive niche. It's what I like to call a rich niche. That means that there's a lot of opportunities. So if you're running paid ads, it could be fairly expensive. So let's see, hearing aid in. Let's try typing in Madison, Wisconsin. What you're going to find here is you're going to find a lot of local ads here, and then you're going to find opportunities for paid ads here, right? So what I'd like to do first is I'd like to understand who is advertising and the types of offers and the types of pages that they're running. So we start to see that some of these companies have a phone number directly within their ads. So let's click on that. So in this case, if I'm running pay-per-call, I like to understand which advertisers are marketing with a phone number. So let's take a look here. Let's click here. And again, this is geo-targeted. The way that I did my ad, the geo-targeting is done the fact that I typed in Madison, Wisconsin. Typically within Google, based on your location, you're going to see local ads. But if you have an ad that says, here's the cities or the states, the network is telling you where to run, then typically the best way to see those local advertisers is just to be, to use, sort of the explicit city and state or country or whatever it is in your search query, and Google's super smart, right? So they're going to return what is targeted for you. So these are really more of local businesses that are running, and you can see that you can click on these phone numbers. So what's really important about anything that you're marketing within pay-per-call is you want to make sure that it's really easy and prominent for your prospects, your traffic that you're driving to your offers, to be able to click on the pay-per-call link right away. That's really the key. So when I look at something like this is not, this is not hyperlink here. So the way that to do that within, if we go back here, let's take a quick look. So if we go back in here to this site, let's just take a look at their page source real quick, where you're going to be able to see is they're using TEL colon. So when you do that, that is, let me just zoom in a little bit here. This is basically the way that you're treating this hyperlink is you're informing the browser that this is a phone number, and when the user clicks on it, if it's on mobile, it's going to initiate a phone call. Again, that's really what I recommend you doing paid traffic for, is targeted to mobile in pay-per-call. And if a user's on the desktop, if they have Skype or Google Voice or another sort of service installed, then it can initiate a phone number in that method too. So again, really important that you're using TEL colon and then the number as part of the way that you're doing your HTML markup on these pages. Let's see if we can find another landing page. So these landing pages that you're seeing here were really more lead-based, where it's either one was a local business and the second one was really more focused on having a web form signed up. So let's take a look here. Let's try to take a look at some other types of good. We can click on this one, some other types of offers. So my comments on these landing pages that we're seeing so far is that they're not focused on generating a call, right? So this right here is they're focused on generating an email or web form. Here they do have call us here, which we can click. So my main sort of advice here is that you really need to think about the type of traffic that you're trying to generate, and to understand what the goal of the action is. Really, really important. So what I mean by that is, if you're getting paid for generating an email or lead or something like that, then focus your page and your call to action on that. If you're trying to get someone to purchase something like an e-commerce offer or something like that, or a rev share offer, then really focus your web page down there, where the page is not distracting and it's very easy for someone to add the product to the cart and complete the checkout. If you're using pay-per-call, then really, really focus on generating the call. So you want the call button to be the most important thing on the page. And if you're running a pay-per-call offer, that would really be the only call to action on the page. So let's see, let's take a look at a few other landers here. So again, the phone number here is a smaller part of the page. So that's really important when we're generating of traffic for our affiliate offers. We need to think about what the call to action is, and don't distract the user with multiple things. Many times that, or choose a path that is the least profitable for you, or many times they get confused and they make zero choices and they won't take any action. So it's really, really important to stay focused. So that was a little bit about landing pages, and I think that's, again, super important when we're focused on pay-per-call. The way that you're designing your ads to push towards a phone call, to be able to use the hypertext markup is the TEL colon, to be able to generate a call, and to really think about the how to focus the call to action on all of your landing pages. Really, really critical. All right, let's take a look here. Fire damage restoration. Again, it's a $55 offer. It's a nice offer here. Let's take a look at that. So someone just typed in they wanted to see that. So let's take a look here. Fire restoration. So what I like to see first here, who's focusing on a phone number. See one here. Again, we see lots of local. And any questions, please keep typing them in. Another phone number that's focused here. Let's take a look. So call us again. TL, you see them on the bottom. We can click on it. Quick form here. Reviews. Again, this is not 100% focused on pay-per-call. Yeah, so this landing page is not great. Just lots of text all over the place. The maps on the bottom. Little phone number here. You can click on it. Can't click on this one here. Like I'd love this to be a call to action. Can't click on any of this stuff. Can't click on any of this stuff here. So again, this is one of the poor, kind of the less, as when we think about landing pages, that one's just not going to convert at all. This one's a little bit cleaner. Again, we can click here. So again, that's one of the things that we consider when we're designing our landing pages, is we really want to focus on a call to action. So someone was asking to take a look at that consolidation. See if anyone here is running a little bit more of a pay-per-call or a call center focused offer. So let's keep on digging in here a little bit. So again, toll free here. Again, this here, lots of links, and our call to action is below the fold. So we really want to think about when you're designing your content and your offer pages. Again, I can't click on this to call, so that's a problem. You want to make sure that your call to actions are above the fold. Super, super important. Not a great page. That one was not a great page. Let's take a look here. There we go. So this is running us through a flow. As your credit scores, this is the kind of a really interesting design. So again, my sort of best piece of advice when you're designing your landing pages, again, is think about what that call to action is and really, really focus it. If you're going to have an offer focused on pay-per-call, then I want to make sure that number one is clickable, and number two, that's the most important thing on the page that I can click and I can focus on. So I'm not seeing sort of landing pages here, keyword, and I'd love to see these convert a little bit better. So this is an interesting one here. Again, a slider, a little bit more interactive. We can click on the phone number. So again, this landing page is definitely cleaner. See here, call now. Going to see call now here. Call us. Can't click on this one, which is a problem. Again, this is a much better landing page. Focused on really more of a lead submit here. They're using a pop for chat. So really important that you're thinking about what your goal is and you focus your whole entire call to action on that. Again, if you give someone multiple choices, most of the time they're going to make a choice that is less profitable for you, or they're going to make a choice, or they're going to make no choice and they're going to leave. So thank you, Ralph. Ralph was saying talking about call to actions is a gem. So good. Yes, that's really that. I got to tell you, as an affiliate, the more I simplify my landing pages, the more I simplify my ads and my copy and just give people one path and one choice, and that's it, the better I do. So call my phone number for pay-per-call, click my link and to the advertiser, submit my lead, buy this product, right? The more directed we can be, the more success you're going to see across the board. So let's go back here. So we're going to take a look at one or two more offers. So again, any questions, please type them in. We're just going to continue tonight on pay-per-call because it is one of the most successful niches that you could be in, and the successful ways to monetize your traffic. And again, it's not well understood, and a lot of people are just afraid to run it. So payday loans, that's sort of an interesting market. So hard to run some traffic for in a lot of markets. I don't believe Google, again, they change the rules all the time, but last time I checked, you were not able to run Google search ads for things like payday loans. So you can see if that's changed. Again, there's lots of other ways to generate traffic, but again, you want to pay attention to this and make sure that there's a market that you can drive traffic to. You can work within, any restrictions like geography or the types of traffic that you can run, and you want to pay attention to understand if the types of networks that or the types of offers that you want to run with, that they're accepted to run traffic for those paid advertising sources. That's a really important one. So someone was interested in what this is. So here's a really interesting point. So one of the things that I think you'll notice that I'm definitely noticing, thinking about these offers, and I'm seeing a lot of offers for an older demographic. I saw things like hearing aids. I see things like hearing aids. I see things like life insurance, in this case, final expense life insurance, I guess covering funerals and things like that. This is for an older demographic. So I mentioned before that Bing can work really well for an older demographic. I'll give you another key tip. Anytime you're marketing to an older demographic, you want to make sure that the text on the page is high contrast, really easy to read. So like black text on a white background works really well, and you need to use a much bigger font size. So I've seen the conversions on offers that I've run for a little bit of an older demographic be 30 to 50% plus higher at any market when I'm increasing the font size and when I'm using just a higher contrast font. So if you have like yellow and blue in a small font, one, I can't read it, and I'm not 65 years old, right? I still can't read it. So really important to think about that as far as you're designing. So again, you want the phone number on the page and your call to action to be a larger font, to be really high contrast, really easy to read. Keep your pages simple. Don't keep them as busy. And again, focus on that one call to action. Also make it clear what you want people to do, right? You want people to click to call. So if that's the case, you want to target your mobile, you want to target your paid media to mobile traffic. And you want to be really specific in the ads and saying, click here to call now, click here to speak to a live operator for free, you click here to discuss, your hearing aid with an operator now, be really specific and descriptive in your call to action and really encourage them. Here's another important tip for pay-per-call. It's great to have two things on the page. So one is you want to make sure that you have a phone number, that you have a hyperlink so someone can initiate the phone call. And also you can use anchor text. You can say, click here to talk to an operator now, right? And if you use the TL colon that I showed you before in your hypertext markup, right? Then you can have that very easy for the user to click on it, and the same thing will happen, and it'll initiate that phone call on their mobile device. The same thing as having the numerical phone number displayed and for them to click on it. I like to have both on it, because some people want to click the phone number and they realize that they're connecting to an operator, and some people want to see that call to action and encourage them to understand why they're doing it. If you just run the sort of anchor text as sort of text and say, click here to call now or click here to speak to somebody, people don't realize that it's actually initiating a phone call, and it could just lead to really short call times, or what happens, they could start to initiate the call and they'll cancel it. So to me, I think it's really important in all my pay-per-call testing that you present both on the screen, that you have your phone number as, the number, kind of written out with the number, and again, hyperlink that, TL colon, that's going to initiate the phone call, and also, a descriptive sort of anchor text where someone's going to click on that and initiate a phone call too. So for me, I really recommend that you do both. I think that's really, really important. That's been the most successful for converting traffic, and again, getting your prospects that you're driving to be on the call for the appropriate period of time that's required for you to get paid out. So I had some more questions on that. So again, typically, pay-per-call, not typically, all pay-per-call is going to be paid out on a minimum duration. So some calls could be 15 seconds, many are 30 seconds or a minute. And the reason why is the operator, the live operator, is using that period of time to qualify your traffic, to qualify your prospect, to make sure that they're appropriate for the offer. If not, they'll end the call. And if the call ends, prior to that point, then you're not paid for it because it wasn't considered a qualified lead. So we got some other questions on thinking about geography. So it's really important. So right here. So again, valid in all USA states except New York. So when you're setting up your paid traffic campaign, you want to make sure that you set up the paper calls. I've seen lots of paper calls that are specific to cities because it could be for local businesses or region of a country or something like that. It's really important because you won't get paid if you're generating traffic in New York State. Someone was asking if it's organic. If it's organic, there's nothing you can do. Look, at some level, you could set up some interesting geo-detection on your website and redirect people to, another state or something like that. Unless you're running super high traffic or you're getting a lot of traffic in New York State, I don't typically think it's worth it to run sort of complex scripts on your page to redirect traffic like that. For other countries, I do think it's worth it. So if you're running organic, I will always redirect traffic based on the country to different offers. But in general, at a city or state level, for organic traffic, I typically don't get into that level of kind of scripting on the site. I usually find that it's not worth the amount of time it takes to do. But for your paid traffic, super, super important to pay attention to that. And again, you see your target customers. So you want to use bigger font size, higher contrast, as I mentioned before, really, really important. Also, what you want to do is when you're thinking about using this on Facebook, and just because someone was typing before, so should I not use Facebook for pay-per-call ads and offers? So definitely not. You should definitely test it. I'm just saying that in my experience in general, I've seen sort of intent-driven search ads to perform a little bit better out of the gate for pay-per-call. But again, you should definitely test Facebook traffic, and this helps you because now you can start to use demographic targeting in addition to geo-targeting. You can start to see age 45 to 65, and you could put that within your behavioral and your interest-based and demographic-based ads in Facebook and target your traffic down at that level, which I think can be really successful also. So again, I would definitely consider that and definitely suggest that you try it. As I typically start with paid search first, since this is an offer specifically for an older demographic. I would also test kind of Bing early on, and then I would definitely test Facebook, right? And you could use your demographic targeting here. So geo-targeting, demographic targeting, really understanding what you can run is super important. And some really key things here. So you can't run incentivized calls, right? So no incentivized traffic. I talked about that on the first offer. So incentivized traffic is reward-based traffic. There are networks on OfferVault that you could type in cents, and you could look directly in the descriptions. And there's people who accept, many offers that accept incentivized or incent-based or reward-based traffic. The majority of offers do not, and it's really specific. So you do not want to run incentivized traffic where it is not allowed. You're not going to get paid for the traffic. It's going to be for quality. Again, it's not what we do. Always follow the rules and the restrictions. No SMS generated calls. So again, you can't market an SMS. So again, it's just really important that you always follow the rules here. So, okay, great. So that was just really our focus session on pay-per-call. If you haven't run pay-per-call in the past, I really encourage you to. I've seen lots of success, and again, Mark and I, in our previous affiliate network that we ran, we had a really strong pay-per-call component. We had lots of affiliates that were very, very successful. Don't always chase the highest payouts for an offer, because it may have sort of a call duration or targeting requirement that is obviously going to be a bigger hurdle. That doesn't mean you don't test it. It's just, again, never run offers on payout alone. Understand what steps are required, understand the duration, understand the geographic targeting or the types of traffic that you can generate. Pay attention to your landing pages the way I described. Use the call extensions within Google so you're paying when calls are being generated. For pay-per-call, focus on, as I mentioned, you want to focus on pay-per-call for mobile-specific traffic, for your targeting for your devices when you're using paid traffic sources. Super, super important. And the most important thing is take action. So your goal right now, if you're watching this live, if you're watching the replay, is I want you to take a look at some different networks here, and I want you to apply to 10 different networks that are running pay-per-call offers. So you're going to see a lot from digital market media. Again, you're going to see lots of different offers from the same network, which is awesome, and it shows you that they're really focused on it. But I want you guys to sign up for 10 affiliate networks every single week, every single session. And for this session, we're focused on pay-per-call. So that's what I suggest that you should be focused on also. So again, that is your homework. That is your call to action. Go sign up for 10 networks, and that's going to give you an opportunity to see lots of different pay-per-call offers and test it. And that's the main thing. Take action and test. And I have lots of affiliates who have tried pay-per-call and don't like it. It's not their style. And I have other affiliates that I have good relationships with that only run pay-per-call, that again, see 6- and 7-figure businesses just running pay-per-call. And a lot of people will run multiple types of offers to monetize and diversify their traffic, which is my favorite, right? I always wanted to diversify my traffic sources and not only run from one source. So that is everything for tonight. And I hope you enjoyed it. And again, every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, please join us live. I really encourage that you join us live. And you can always watch the replays on the OfferVault site in the webinar tab. You should be able to always go through and watch our replays. So thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the session tonight. Take action. Go sign up for 10 networks. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks again.